Hello and welcome to the Esports Meta, your one-stop shop for everything esports in North America. We've got a ton of hot topics today on this hot Tuesday, and I'm going to run down. I'm just going to start with it. We're going to be talking about League of Legends, a few updates there. Vanguard has a bit of an update. Faker skins, something's going on there. A lot of controversy, maybe. We'll talk about that. XDefiant is the new Call of Duty killer, apparently. We'll talk a little bit about that and give you our analysis and opinions. Besides that, a new Multiverses game coming out, Smash Clone. We've already seen the teaser of it, but we have a full release happening today. And finally, DreamHack is kicking off. Overwatch Championship Series is going to be leading the pack on that, plus a ton of other tournaments, and we've got a ton to talk to. So I need a person who loves to talk and loves to talk about esports. Nicholas Layton, let's bring him on in. How you doing today, Nick?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good, even though it's pretty hot.
Dude, it's so sweaty right now, but like, we're sweaty gamers. We know how it goes, and props to us. We didn't mess up the microphones today.
Yeah, not yet. Let's go.
Knock on wood, not yet. All right. So, Nick, I'm not sure if you heard me. Just we've done some pre-production on this. Any of the topics, any of the things that are interesting you about what we're expecting today to be a part of our conversation? Anything you want to spotlight going into this?
Definitely, I'm loving this Faker event. Basically, it's like a whole thing dedicated to the Demon King. And then like the new I'm so bad with the name of it, but like the new shooter, man. The new shooter's looking pretty cool, but there's like an interesting thing with it that we should be talking about, right?
There's definitely a few interesting things we're going to be talking about on that. Things that could impact competitive play as a whole. But we'll get to that in a second here, of course. I'm looking forward to just talking about DreamHack. I've been excited about this. It's Overwatch Championship Series' first major event, international. We finally get to size up the competition across all three regions through 3 of the 7 continents. I think there's 7 continents. I don't know. I failed geography in school, but that's why I play video games and not do maps. All right, but let's get to the first topic. We're going to start off with League of Legends update. First and foremost, I believe we have a bit of a... Yes, we do. We're going to be talking about Vanguard, the anti-cheat there. They had a bit of an update for us, a little bit of a information privy release with it, if that's kind of the way to say it. More or less, it's basically announcing that they're going to be banning hardware IDs or hardware ID bans. More or less, the thing we were talking about, if you're running an operating system, hardware system that's too old in the past, well, they're going to ban it. And this way you don't brick your system. This way you won't blame them. I think there's a little bit more nuance to that, of course, but off that headline, off that topic, just the start here, Nick, what are your thoughts?
I mean, does it have anything to do with with just like cheaters in general? Where they if they switch, because this is something that Microsoft used to deal with when you were building your own PC. You used to have to buy, if you switched out too many parts, you would actually have to buy a new Windows key. Right. Because you just had too many switches and stuff like that to ship a thesis and all that. So
that was exactly the reference I was going to make. And I'm not sure how I feel about it totally, just because is this another infringement on the right to repair? If I make, too many changes to the computer, how is it still the same computer? I mean, software is different than hardware. And then that brings into the questions here for the game. I should be able to play the game regardless of what hardware I'm using, but they're creating a new sense of minimums. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, League is pretty forgiving on its hardware minimums. I'm going to be really, really cutthroat on this one. The people who can't deal with Vanguard, there's a few exceptions to this. Obviously, there's a few glitches and all that, but there's a lot of people running on some extremely spicy tech. I don't even know how you shop on Amazon with the computer that you have.
Excuse me, sir. I'm running some of these. Excuse me, sir. I'm running a stream on a 1998 Dell computer. Sorry, Dell Gateway. The cow computers. We're running perfectly fine here. I should be able to play League of Legends. No.
Yeah, it's a CPU game for the most part. It's not very graphic heavy, but the game is I don't think my computer from when I first started playing League of Legends could theoretically handle. It couldn't even handle the game then. I really do think that there's some people in this category that really should not should upgrade their computer. But that's pretty like, I don't want to be like, purse king over here, just be like, yeah, go spend some bucks real quick. But,
Dude,
I
it's a
like
very
personally, I think like you could probably spend like, I could probably make a computer right now for like 350 maybe, and it probably run League like 60 FPS at least. Like it would probably run it pretty decently, like overall.
right. Like
At like
there's
350
the entry to play isn't that high, isn't as high as it used to be, and like League of Legends is a pretty low running thing. You're kind of making the Pokemon argument. Broke boy, don't buy my cookies then. Completely.
No, I mean this isn't
legit.
Starfield or something. like
Right,
we're
it's not Crisis.
for a lot. And personally, I don't even mind Vanguard so far. Like I've had it on my computer, and like I'm not sure exactly how it works. Like I haven't gotten into this, but it does feel like it's like a semi antivirus of like sorts. Like I've gotten like a random link, and I'm like, like some links. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to this website that like I have an article for or something like that I want to read, and it's like block something, and I'm like, all right, Vanguard, we stopped something from doing something, and I'm like, are you just like it? Like, did Riot just give me like an antivirus that's like that literally sits in the rootkit to stop people from trojaning my shit? Like, did that just happen? Did I get a free antivirus? Like, I have good antivirus in general, but I'm pretty curious about that I have to look into it, right?
Right. That's definitely something to look into deeper, because that could be like a whole China thing, right? Like how they're controlling what you're seeing, what they want you to see, or how they want to see it. I don't think it's that malicious, that intentfully malicious or, clandestine, but there's always that possibility when they're able to control it on that root level like that. You are giving it permission to play the game. But, and that seems to be what's kind of happening here in the article, and what they're kind of spotlighting quickly. League of Legends has implemented hardware ID bans targeting cheaters' entire PC to further enhance anti-cheat efforts, making it sound like it's pretty altruistic in an effort to prevent bad actors and keep your games fair and fun. But if they're targeting links like outside of the game, like you said, it's acting more like an antivirus. Right. Some sort of preventive
this is like
malware.
An interesting thing. I'm just going to put this out here, right? This is like an interesting thing because we had like the whole TikTok, like whole thing of TikTok versus like, US government versus China. Yeah. Like the soul of TikTok and everything like that.
Still happening. Yeah.
I'm just going to put this out there. There's a lot more people on the Epic Games Store and Riot Games client, right? And Riot Games is majoritarily owned by Tencent. Okay. Pokemon Unite is owned by Tencent. Epic Games, which also has another rootkit anti-cheat, okay, that we just talked about recently,
easy
is
anti-cheat.
Also 40% owned by Tencent. So,
right.
I don't know, U.S. government. I think that's like instead of the Singaporean who's running fucking TikTok, if you talk to the fucking other companies, I don't know. That's just me.
Right. And it seems like an easy target because it's alleged associations with like a Chinese government. And that's not to say there isn't something happening or possibility or capacity. But at the same time, what do we see like, Silicon Valley do? What do we see Facebook do? Meta do? What do we see? All the social media is controlled in the US. It's interesting in that way. And definitely a cool conversation to have when it comes to video games, your individual PC security, and overall the competitiveness of games. Like if you want to play a game competitively, seriously, if you want to get into the esportsification of a game, like you got to think about these things in some degree, because what is it? Part of the Apex hack was possibility one of the pro players downloaded something stupid and just was like their computer, their system was hacked, only theirs, and that allowed them server access. Like there's a lot to it, of course, and like I'll defer to the experts on the specificality. That's a big word. I get $2 for saying a big word. The specificality of all these things, but like we don't even know. Respawn never announced any sort of, hey, we're fixed this is going on. We just had hey, we ran a tournament and we streamed it and nothing happened. See guys, we're fine kind of moment. And otherwise it's been quiet. So like there's so many things involved with that kernel level security system, and then the association with government or bad actors on the cheaters, a hacker sort of level, all the way up to like political or government wise. Like
sorry,
it's
I want to
wild,
correct
man.
myself.
Go for
I
it.
need to correct myself. Tencent owns 93% of Riot Games.
93, 93.
Owns a 9-3. Scooped up. No, sorry, they own 100%. I was wrong twice.
Well, when you're at 93%, you practically own 100% anyway. 100%. Interesting. It kind of makes sense, especially with the monetary practices, which if we're willing to do a segue right now, I've got a great segue. If we're talking about the monetary practices, let's talk about the monetary practices with this new Hall of Legends event coming in League of Legends, spotlighting Faker and skins and the prices. Allegedly, the package is going to cost over $400. It's going to be celebrating Faker, the Demon King, his 10-year career, inducting him into and launching the League of Legends Hall of Legends with this event. But, generally speaking, it seems the pass is going to be a lot, and people are kind of upset about it. Nick, you're our League of Legends player. You're our correspondent right on the ground here with League of Legends. Would you buy something in the game for $400?
Maybe. Like I'm not going to be one of those people who's like, I don't spend any money on League of Legends skins. Like I've spent probably $700 on League of Legends skins, and like other
over
things,
the course
right?
of how long, right?
Since 2009. But also I brought this isn't going to make any sense to like a lot of people. I bought the Rune Page pack on one of my accounts. Okay.
Okay.
And the Rune Page pack is still there for one of my accounts, and I have 7 Rune Pages to choose from. But like new players have 2 and you can't get any more.
What's a Rune Page?
So that's like the talents for the most part.
Okay.
So you can have like different builds and stuff like that. And you can always change them like while you're in champ select and stuff. But I also bought like other stuff. Like I bought like the starter packs and stuff like that. Like there were some cool things that they sold. But I'm on a firm belief that like if you're not forced to buy it, you're not allowed to complain about it. Like if you're saying like, oh, I can't afford it, bring the price down, like make the comment, like submit the comment to the thing and say like, hey guys, I think this is like a little overpriced. Like you don't get to whine about it. Like that's crazy. Like I would want to take like if I was your dad, I'd take the game away from you. Like what are you talking about? You're crying over his skin? Like I like Faker and I like some of his skins, but like I don't really know. Like, what are you going to get? Jhin. We're going to get Ryze, Syndra. Who cares? You're going to get all the SKT1 skins. Like,
yeah, that's what it looks like. And like, but like, that's a fine line of balance. Like, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's not compelling you to buy it. It's a choice, but they are going to prey on FOMO. They're going to market it in an excitable sort of way, limited time offer, kind of like act now kind of sort of thing, which is expected, especially in our culture and commercialism. Generally today. Hold on a second. I want to just say though, it's a fine balance because we were just talking about the hardware to play, and that might have a cost associated with entering the game and being able to play the game. And then this is obviously more cosmetic and you don't need it to play the game, but like here's another cost. So like the broke boy sort of argument, can't afford it, don't buy it. It's okay. Not a problem. Complain about it for a brief second and then move on. Like, I think that's fine, but I want to just say that there's got to be a balance between those two. No, go ahead. I mean, I know I kind of stopped you.
I mean, sure, but like you can get any skin out of the like loot boxes that Riot gives you for free. Like any skin, any single skin. They're not fucking Disney where shit goes back into the vault. That terrible, disgusting place, Disney, right? Like, I'm not even joking. Like, it doesn't go into the vault. Like, I've gotten so many legendary skins just from, like, playing the game on my alt account. My alt account is stacked. I haven't even spent any money on that account. And it's stacked on my alternate account. My main account is pretty stacked, too. But, like, I've spent money on that one. So, I'm not really going to, like, say anything about that. But, like...
No, it's fair. And, like, there is that aspect of it where it's you play enough, you will be able to get the things for free. another counterpoint to that is that the loot boxes are still randomized, and just like any sort of randomness, I would hope the code kind of removes things from that you have, removes the skins that you already have, or compensate you for like a duplicate kind of like currency or something. But like, there's always that randomness. How many skins are there in the game? And if that box is like pulling from all the skins, you have a 1 out of what chance to get the one you want. Either way, it's cosmetic. It's not going to change the way you play, really. It's just going to make you.
Sure. But like, there's less like, all right. So full disclosure on this one would be like, there's less one tricks in the game in general. So if we're talking about like max number of players, the max number of players that specifically play Ahri, because Ahri has the premier skin in this, right? Got to be a low set of players, and I'd have to say that the squeaky wheel is trying to get the grease at the moment, and it's a bunch of people who like casually play Ahri, and they're like fear of missing out of, I want this skin because it looks cool. I'm not an Ahri main, so like, and I get it if you're an Ahri main. I'm a Gragas main. I like having all of the Gragas skins, even the garbage ones.
I know that feeling, yeah.
I get that, but like, it's $500, man. Just don't buy it. Like it's $500. Like, don't even look at it. I can't afford a $500 skin. So I'm going like, that's cool in the game. I also don't play Ahri, so like it doesn't affect me like that. All the other skins you could already get anyway. And like the skin looks cool, but I don't think she looks like Ahri. I think she looks like Aurelia mixed with like Vladimir, but like, so like if I was an Ahri main, I'd probably not even enjoy this skin.
Well, that's the big thing of the skins in general. It's the cosmeticness of it. It isn't going to impact the game, but it's going to like excite the people who are engaged with the character, who are emotionally attached. And like, this is definitely something that does that. It is something, like I said, we get it. Reinhardt main on Overwatch. I got to get all his skins. Him and Wrecking Ball. But yeah, same idea.
Complaining. I'm like reading this now, like as you have it up on the screen. People are complaining because that final boss title is $500. Like that's what it is. Like it's the final boss title. No one cares about anything else. I think that's the coolest thing on the whole entire thing. 100 pass levels doesn't matter because like basically this is like a battle pass. And like they do give you free rewards, and there's a lot of like signature Ahri skin upgrades.
They're gonna do a lot to justify that price point.
They do a lot of stuff on like the animations are going to be a little bit different, like the way that it works. Not the way that it works, but like the way that it looks will change. But I don't know. Like
right.
I think like a huge bundle like this is probably like, it's a shame that they're not selling it separately, but like if they sold it separately, like could they do something like this? Hey, here's a Faker skin. Well, what about all Faker's other stuff? Oh, well, we didn't include that into this Faker event. So yeah, like I don't know. It just seems weird to just complain about literally complain about it. Like,
It's almost like a self-fulfilling thing because the Riot's going to create the hype around it, and then they've got all this secondary hype, which is complaining, right? And like, yeah, truth be told, that final boss Faker title sounds pretty legit, but like you said, I'm not sure I'd be spending $400 plus $500 on that for that. But if they bundled it down, and like my final just thought with this too, before I send it to you to kind of give your final thoughts. That's how they make their money, right? I know they make their money other ways, but by selling characters and gems and stuff. But this is definitely
characters like that.
But this is definitely a non-insignificant way to they make their money, and I'm not justifying this, but it's almost like being mad at a dog for barking. They're going to try this shit. And don't talk with your words, say one thing on Twitter, do your thing, whatever makes you feel good, vent a little bit, but talk with your dollars, basically. Don't spend the money on that because, a lot of these people who complain are going to buy this and they're going to go, hey, wow, we just made so much money off of this package. And granted, this is the first time they're doing it. So they're testing out, they're like limit pushing, they're seeing and stuff. You know, don't buy it. Maybe say you would buy something cheaper, like a smaller version of this bundle, or like this is what you like. But either way, like, show it with your dollars. You know, if you're not interested, don't buy it. You know, and again, like you said, the squeaky wheels might actually be outnumbered by the quiet majority, and that quiet majority might be spending 500 on this.
I mean, like, yeah, maybe, right? I think the thing that like people probably aren't saying, right? And it's one of the things that I've been thinking about for a while is they put champion mastery into the game, right? And like if you do certain things with the champion, like basically like little achievements, things that the champion does in general, like how much you've done it, you know, have you like blah blah blah. If there's an achievement for it for your specific champion, increasing your mastery level can go pretty high. I don't even know what the max mastery level is, but this might be a situation where like instead of just like coming down on the price, change the colors of it and don't take away the faker stuff and just change the colors on it, change the art slightly, and then just put it out as like the RE mastery skin. And if you achieve a certain mastery level, you get this skin. Like put out something like that, because like,
yeah,
I don't know,
like a free to play sort of.
All they need to do is say like, yeah, you get this one, or you can pay for that one. Like go play a lot to do that one, or you can buy this one. Like I think that's fine.
Right, finding that balance for both sides of the argument there, where there's options is not just FOMO arguments. But speaking of FOMO, I fear we're missing out on some of the other topics if we focus on this one too long, because you know we love talking about this stuff, but we've got a bit more to talk about. I'm actually going to move us into. Oh, that was not the link. I want to move us into multiverses, actually. So let's bring us up the browser and get this going here. Multiverses is going to be the new fighting game clone. I do have to do some updates here. Let's Nick, I'm gonna play this video really quick and give me your thoughts. Right? Have you seen the game already? Have you
Nope.
Have you heard anything new?
At it.
Okay, so let's roll this clip, and I want to hear your thoughts.
Does pies even have anything in them?
Certainly, this one's about to have your face in it.
Your big good barrage is over, Rabbit.
Velma, look out! It's...
Wanna see a magic trick?
This was the big announcement this week. They announced that Joker is going to be a playable character.
Never seen one of those before.
Who didn't see that coming?
Right?
You put Batman in the game and it's like there's no Joker and no Superman. That would be great.
How's that for a finishing?
I don't think we've seen the Animaniacs announced or launched yet, but here's the Iron Giant. This is somebody who's been in the game. Apparently Bugs was like super broken, Bugs Bunny.
Oh, that's a cute little toy you got there.
This is no toy, Earthling. It is an Acme Bubble Blaster. Isn't it, love?
Hey now! It ain't polite to point weapons at a lady.
You have made me very angry.
Think I know someone else that's angry
The vibe I'm getting here is if Space Jam was a video game, Space Jam 2 was a video game.
Sword, check. Shield, check. Thirst for battle? Always check. The only version of me I trust.
I mean, so far it's just all animated trailer stuff.
Oh wait,
No, not this one. Let's try. Sorry,
Not
Bruce,
to-
I'm not here.
Not to bring League of
Ah,
Legends
too
into
cheery.
every single conversation,
Meddling kids.
but did you play the PC version of League of Legends back in the day? Did you know this existed?
I'm sorry, what was that again?
Did you play the WV version of League of Legends, basically? The
No,
multiversus League of Legends that happened, right? I can't remember what the hell it was called,
Was
but I
it
played
Wild
it.
Rift or Rift?
No. This is like with the Joker. This is like DC
Oh,
League of Legends.
they had like a crossover thing.
With not in League. I'm calling it League of Legends because
It was a
of
league
the
clone.
game style. Yeah, it was like a League
Gotcha.
clone. Infinite Crisis. Yeah, it's called Infinite Crisis. So like,
Oh yeah. I remember the
this
DC
feels
MOBA.
like
Yeah.
this feels like Super Smash Brothers Infinity Crisis game. And not to be like outright like negative, but it seems like based on that Wonder Woman thing, like I had suspicions going into it that would be like my big fear, but like did they make 4 Wonder Woman characters that play differently and put them into the game? And like they're just going to be re-releasing characters from different universes, like universes inside that universe, right? So
Yeah,
like
the
in the
multiverse on
DC
that.
universe, so they're just going to be like 5 different Batman, 5 different Superman, instead of bringing in like Robin, Batgirl, you know, Chinese Batman. I can't remember his name. Like he's a part of the Bat family. I can't remember.
Yeah,
what his
like
name
Red
is.
Hood and Nightwing and stuff, and like
Yeah, exactly.
so. Like it seems, I think the Shadow one would technically be a different person in the comics, not like multiverse version of it, but I think the others are just maybe demonstrating the different costumes that you're going to be able to do and buy. Again, this feels like a full Smash clones. Generally speaking, it's gotten pretty good reviews earlier this year when it was in like a beta alpha release test sort of situation. I want to bring us into like a more of a gameplay trailer here. So I'm going to swap us back into the videos part. And this is going to be, we could talk about this. Jason Voorhees, I can't talk. Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th. Or is that Halloween? I don't remember. But
Jason Voorhees?
Yeah.
This Jason is, it's Jason.
It's just Jason, okay.
Friday
Here's the
13th.
gameplay trailer and
It's,
generally how it works.
It's Freddy Krueger, bro.
He's journeyed to space. He's been hunting for rabbits.
We have ourselves a rabbit hater.
Pretty brutal.
On May
Seeming.
28th,
Right. But like, at least here's some gameplay trailer here, how it works in action. I haven't put my hands on it. I have watched a few streamers play it. I did enjoy the fluidity of it. It seems a little bit jerky at times, but they might lean into it like how Smash was developed initially. Wave dashing wasn't a thing, and then all the degenerates found all the code and all the secret tech to make it, you know, something different. And I think that's what started happening with this game. Back when it came out, Bugs Bunny was the degenerate tech character. So like you were able to frame cancel like a god with it. It seems like it's a fairly competitive game. It seems like it's a lot of fun, which is priority number one. But then how much farther will it go? How much of a ceiling? Is this going to be a cash grab? Is it going to be a $500 faker package kind of play here off the bat? What are your thoughts looking at this so far, Nick? And is there something else you'd want to take a look at in more spotlight way?
This looks like Grandpa Smash. Like, if I'm honest, like as like an older dude, like this feels like Grandpa Smash. Like it's kind of like a nostalgia bomb for like a lot of people, like us included, right? Like people in their 30s literally grew up with these cartoons, right? Like Adventure Time isn't as big as it used to be, just in general, right? So like what new people are you pulling in, right? And the only thing that might fix what the Smash community deals with is like how much control DC or, you know, Warner Brothers has over the event in general. Another question would be, is Matthew Lillard the voice of Shaggy? Like,
Is Mark Hamill the voice of Joker?
Probably. Like probably. Let's see. Multiverses. What kind of multiverses?
Well, here's the video. Let me just turn the volume up.
Yeah, that's it. It's either him or Troy Baker, but it's definitely Hamill.
Oh no, it's
Yeah,
definitely Mark Hamill. So
Yeah.
why is that important? The original voice actors or the iconic voice actors?
Because this game's for old people who want to play Smash, and they want to sell this game. Like this game is for old people. It's not for kids. Like I hope kids get into it, but like, what's the pull? What's the pull?
Well,
Like Mortal Kombat has more pull than this for like the younger audience.
But Mortal Kombat is going to be seen as like a bloodier, sort of more violent sort of game that might not have the entry. Also, like you also have the degenerate fighting people. They're going to bounce from one fighting game to the other. Maybe this is an alternative from Smash where they can play and make some money because Warner Brother treats it better in a competitive marketing scene where it's like they have an esport. You don't need to esportify everything, but that's a demographic that could touch on this. Like you're saying, the old nostalgic sort of sense of it. Let's check out the
like
roster.
this is like the new players, right? The new players, like maybe like Rick and Morty, might be like a poll, but like Shaggy might be a poll, but like that's literally for people who are talking about like God Shaggy from like 8 years ago with the meme and everything like that when they wanted to put him in fighting games.
Yeah, man, but I think I got the answer for you on that. Let me swap up so it's a little bit easier to see. It's going to be free to play. They're going to have like probably buying to the characters and costume sales and stuff, but like that's going to pull in, besides the color scheme, that's going to pull a younger demographic in, like Fortnite. It's not exactly the most riveting gameplay overall. Sometimes you're mostly doing fort building than shooting, but that's a gameplay style that people like, and like it being free to play is that part that's going to attract them. Here we have a lot of iconic characters. Iron Giant's a movie from when we were nearly kids. Like, so like you've got
like Ready
so
Player
you got
One.
the mix. You've got the mix of all these, and then I think this antlered dog bear thing is like an original character on it, but
Antler dog bear thing.
I didn't say. Oh, yeah, antler dog bear thing, and like you've got Adventure Time. You've got some what is Steven Universe here, Rick and Morty, Gremlins. I don't think anybody from any Zoomer, any like Gen Z knows what a gremlin is up here over Rick and Morty, let alone But
That's what I'm saying. Like these characters are pretty like when was the last time a kid gave a crap about Bugs Bunny? Like this is the difference between this and Smash. Would be like people are still like Mario games are still marketed to kids. Sonic games are still marketed to kids. Those are two characters. Fire Emblem is marketed to teenagers. Like, are people gonna play because LeBron's there?
Yeah. That's why they put LeBron. That's why they licensed him. And like he's not going to be like the big pull on this, but he's part of this Warner Brother universe. They're going to put him on there. With that, and I think there's a big conversation about like relevancy, right? Game of Thrones has been out of the spotlight, out of the scene. I know they've got House of Dragons out now, but like that's definitely not the smash hit that was. But you've got Arya Stark here. You've got Arya Stark here. They're just throwing IP in for the sake of IP. And like, I'm not sure if you know this, but they tried to make 4 or 5 other Space Jam movies before they made Space Jam 2. There was a karate one with Jackie Chan. He was signed and booked for it. There was a skateboarding one with Tony Hawk. It was called like Space Skate or Skate Jam. Like Warner Brothers has a history of just like throwing shit at the wall and basically nothing sticking. And this could be completely that. But in that first playthrough, at least when, they were testing code and like getting a feel for the fighting game, it had some pretty good sensibilities around it. So like it'll be interesting to see here how much of a competitive game we're going to be getting here that's not going to get overly monetized.
Missed opportunities, man. I don't see
What's that?
And this is like kind of not a joke. Is like there's not enough diversity on here. Like get rid of Arya Stark and put in Hodor, okay? And what's his face? Oh my God, what was
Bran?
the kid in the wheelchair? Yeah, Bran.
Yeah.
Put Bran and Hodor in his character as one singular character, like Ice Climbers. Get out of my face. That would be a cool pull. But like Arya, that's pretty boring. She sucked in the show. She was cool in the books.
But like,
Like, in
okay,
general.
there's going to be somebody who likes them, but regardless of all that, like they're going to add more characters. They're probably going to mainly make money through costumes and new characters, depending on what their model is. But generally, these battle pass free to play games do that. So like I think that would be a really interesting idea. It'd be a really cool pull, and like definitely bring people who are interested in the fighting game history of like multi-character characters to this. I think Tom and Jerry is also like an ice climber type thing. Let me switch us back and take a look here. Let's see what Mr. Tom and Jerry do. But like my point with Tom and Jerry, like we're saying before, it's like you got to like reintroduce them to be relevant. Yeah, we got some. We've got some ice climber tactics here. Pause that one. Let's see what Rocket Mouse does. But yeah. And then they're spotlighting, look how big the moveset is versus how big the costumes are. We already can tell what their plan is. It's gonna be. It's definitely gonna be that.
It's cool. Like, but like I don't know why there's like it's like did we as like a person who's played video games as long as we have, like I feel like I already got Tom and Jerry into a fighting game once before. I don't even know if that's true, but I feel like I already had that in Bugs Bunny in a fighting game already. Not like Smash, like it was probably more of like a 2D fighter or something like that,
Right.
or like a top-down like Power Stone.
Yeah. How many games? I think there was one for the PlayStation 2 where there was like a side-scrolling Street Fighter-esque fighter game, but you know,
So old.
Those fall to the wayside. It kind of. They fold, they do well, they're beloved in like cult sort of like followings, but I'm excited for this. This game came out today. I want to see what happens in the scene, who gravitates to it. It had a lot of buzz earlier this year. It'll be interesting to see how much buzz it gets again. If Bugs Bunny is still the most broken character in the game, if LeBron gets broken again, because I think at one point they would, but like, you know, or if they add a Hodier and Braun Stark kind of character, dual character, it'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
What would you like to see for this game to succeed, Nick?
I like you need to pull in something like just like newer, like a newer IP. It can't be like these older IPs. Like I get like we want to have like the older fighting crowd and stuff to like stabilize the try to stabilize the community, but I don't know, like all these characters, like when was the last time Steven in the Universe like did anything? Like I understand Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, LeBron, I guess. What is Tasmanian Devil doing there? Like in general, right?
He's iconic.
Like they should have put in the grandma for like for what is it, like Baby Tunes or whatever the hell it was called? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Baby Looney Tunes, was that it? Where it was like the old woman with the bird. But like
No, I know
Gizmo's cool, right? Gizmo's cool, but like, isn't it like too late for us like to really care about this? Like as like grown men with kids. Like I'm not saying like just like us, but like a lot of the community has got like.
Well, I don't think you
really gonna
I don't
go
think you
crazy?
need to like you don't need to like the entire cast. Like any fighting game, you just need one to pull you in. How many people are going to go play Marvel Rivals because they got to be Spider-Man, right? How many people are going to come?
Only character. Go ahead.
How many people are going to come into this just because they want to play in a fighting game as Batman, right? And then once you're invested in it, that's when you'll start like spreading out, and then you'll be Morty, then you'll be, you know, Superman, Steven Universe. So like, I hear your point to the extent. What's the draw on this? But like, I think the people that would be buying video games, the 15, the 16 to 24-year-olds, know Steven Universe in a somewhat nostalgic way. Like it's kind of from their childhood.
I mean, I think the most appealing person to anybody who plays a fighting game in this actual game is the Banana Guard. The Banana Guard might be the biggest pull in this game. Like, hands down, look at him. Like, he's a troll. He's an absolute troll. Like, if you won as a Banana Guard, I don't even know what this guy does, but look how goofy he looks. I'd be
Right.
pissed if that guy beat me. Like he's just like, all right, and he's just smiling the whole time. I think this
Special
guy,
move. Special
Yeah.
move, banana split.
and also like, it's a real shame that we can't get like the actual coolest character in Adventure Time, because some voice actor is a piece of shit. Lemon Grab is the best character in Adventure Time, except he's voiced by Justin Roiland, who isn't the voice of Rick or Morty in this game, guaranteed. And they decided to not put in another one of his characters. Like,
Who knows if they're going to put it in later, because again, this is all probably about the costumes and the character sales. But I do know for a fact that part of the delay on this was they had to revoice all the Rick and Morty with the new voice actor. So they took his voice out, they put the new voice actor in. Who's to say they wouldn't do that with Lemongrass, right?
I guess.
I want to see this. I want to see quickly before we move on.
Not Lemongrass.
Lemon Grab. Okay, my bad. I do want to see this this character video real quick. If we Banana Guard gameplay.
Make no mistake, justice doesn't sleep.
Is Kevin Conroy doing the voice too?
Maybe before he died.
For duty. I am feeling so pumped up right now. Banana guards, assemble!
Yeah, that's Kevin Conroy's voice.
Time for raw potassium-laced fury!
The raw. See, he's a troll. That's a troll character. Raw potassium. Like that's hilarious, bro. He probably has a quote like 100% fruit, not from concentrate, like something stupid like that.
Character, right?
You got to be one of those writers for this for sure. But yeah, man, like I think that's the draw for this game: the fun ridiculousness, being free to play, and then having that low floor that's of fun, and then having that high ceiling of skill for competitiveness. And like I hope it has that high skill ceiling, but that's a TBD thing, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit harder with these games that release like secondary after all these like hits, because they actively try to put things in that tend to not be so competitive or a little bit too powerful in the competitive aspect. Like if we were to put wave dashing in now and not as like try to actively put it into the game versus something else,
There are a few Smash clones. It's slipping the tip of my tongue right now, but I know there's a couple that were independently developed with wave dashing as the priority. I bought it on my Switch. I only get to play it when I have friends over, and I don't have friends. Joking. But it's very few and far between where I get to play those games. And it's a fantastic game, very well done, and that's a game that was developed independently, but also with wave dashing as the primary. Being able to do those pivot techs, those small little nuance stuff, it was super important to the developer, and I remember talking about it. I gotta double check what the name of the game is, but like that is one to just sort of counterpoint on you. Most of these Warner Brother games will not do that for sure. They will absolutely just think about on the aftermath. But those independent games, those independent fighting games are where it's at. That's where they're going to, really be showing their stuff on that code. And if you're all ready, to get into a little bit more of a combat mode, we got another new game we can talk about. But I want to, ask you if you had any final thoughts for Multiverses first.
No, I mean, we got to see how they're going to pan out, like how they're going to put in characters, but I would wager that we see like a second Batman or something before you see like a character you truly love from like those universes, stuff like that. But
yeah. What I do know is that the fighting game community is going to love it. They're going to gravitate to it. They're going to have a lot of fun. They're going to do a lot of tournaments around it. So we'll see a lot of community presence with this game. Who knows if the money's going to follow, the sponsorships, if the big name players are going to start playing. But at the very least, they're going to, do some casuals and have some fun with it for sure. There's going to be some side bets at EVO with this one.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty, that'll probably be like the most fun about it, right? Mm-hmm. Would be the side bets.
Yeah. TBD if it's going to be at Kumite and whatnot, but we've got another game to talk about, so let's get rolling into it. I'm going to bring us over into XDefiant, the alleged Call of Duty killer, and just right to the website here. Let me make sure we're on the right. Yeah, we are. Cool. So this is the new game that's coming out from Ubisoft. First and foremost, Ubisoft kind of makes me hold my breath on it, but I know a lot of people love Rainbow Six Siege as a shooter, the tactical aspect of it. With this one, this is supposed to be their answer to a Call of Duty. Free-to-play first-person arena shooter where you can compete to be the best in the fast-paced online matches. So yeah, really heavy into competitive aspect of it. You know, there's a lot of things we could talk about with it, but there's only like two that matter. First and foremost, let me go over to the factions. I believe there's 5 factions you launch with, and then the first battle pass will have a faction. And I think allegedly that faction might be a little bit busted, but that's pretty normal per case. What are you seeing here with the factions, right, Nick? Is it just some like playful words?
Far Cry, Call of Duty, Splinter Cell, right?
Okay.
I don't know about the other two, but like Saints Row on the end.
Apex and Saints Row.
Apex and Saints Row. Apex was in my head for that other one because he looks like Caustic, but like that's literally models stolen from other games is what it looks like. It looks like Far Cry, Call of Duty, Splinter Cell, Apex, Saints Row.
Far Cry, Call of Duty, Splinter Cell, Apex, Cyberpunk?
Yeah, you could do Cyberpunk. You could even do Dead Island for the first one. Yeah.
That's a throwback.
But these two that's Call of Duty and Splinter Cell if I've ever seen that shit. That is
for sure
100% a ripoff. That is a Sam. Look at that night vision. Those are Sam's goggles. Okay.
Absolutely.
But
get that. Those are Tom Clancy games, right? Those are Tom Clancy games.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, you know what? That is more of a Ghost Recon. The Phantom one is more of a Ghost Recon skin.
It's a Ghost Recon. Yeah. You know, so, okay, that was your initial impression. That's got me asking the question, is it on purpose? Do they want you to do that? Are they just biting to just like launch draw, pull people? Or is it just like hitting stereotypes that people know? Was it even a developer conscious decision? Probably, almost definitely.
Yeah, right? It's not AI generated art. This has actually happened. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they could have that, but I mean, Splinter Cell is people are passionate about Splinter Cell for sure.
Yeah, let's take a little look here at what each of the factions kind of are and do. It seems to be Caribbean Revolutionaries as the faction, and you get the faction you pick derives your abilities you get to in game. So it's kind of like what's up?
That is 100% Far Cry 6 or something. Go ahead. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. No. I don't think I have anything else other than that. I don't want to dwell too much, but it seems like the choice of your faction is a choice of your class in the game, of your ability, etc. So here the Phantoms, they get Aegis, which looks like a spherical shield, hardened health, so they're tailored gene therapies. Backstory, but it seems like they're going to be harder to kill. They have some like resistance, mag barrier, electric magnet barrier, and then blitz shield. So this feels more like what's that?
It's like turtling in like Call of Duty and like all that. Like they seem like the turtlers because they'll have like the riot. It seems they have like riot shield, barrier
right.
Stuff like that. So
it definitely seems like the heavier armored, stronger, slower. I want to also know if maybe it's more like an Apex Call of Duty where you find weapons on the ground, like a war zone, right? Like a battle royale where you're just going to pick up different weapons. I'd imagine that these guys get equipped with more of a shotgun, sort of mid-range, sort of tactical weapon. But
you got an M16 picture.
What was that? Sorry, I keep cutting out.
That's an M16 or an M4.
Yeah.
Picture, so
yeah, definitely assault rifle vibe. Definitely AR vibe on that, and then you have stealth, maybe some more long scope, medium scope stuff, but digital ghillie suit renders the agent nearly invisible. Sonar goggles, passive trait, low profile. They don't come up on radar, and intel suit shares location. So they seem to be the information class, the tactical class, Cleaners. What do cleaners do? These former NYC sanitation workers solve all their problems with one tool, fire. Flamethrowers, SMGs, it looks like. Firebomb, Molotovs, fire drone, and then incendiary rounds.
Fire drone. Like what? Mobile flamethrower? Like remote controlled mobile flamethrower.
We'll see how that
cool.
goes. It seems interesting, but like that's also I'm not sure how I feel about like it. Maybe the factions don't matter. They're just calling it something different where these are just classes. And these almost seem like the hacker class. Yeah, lockout, disable HUD. After devices deployed, you print a new one. Spider bot, targets and stuns with a face hug, and then hack deployed abilities. So yeah, this is your Sombras. This is your hacker class.
They're definitely on purpose, right?
For sure.
Like the art is definitely on purpose, but it definitely looks like a well disguised hero shooter. I guess we'll call it like it's a well disguised hero shooter, depending on how it like works and stuff like that.
Right. With another battle pass model, that we're not getting away from those anytime soon.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And I'm not against those for sure. Like it's just certain companies go We've had that conversation before. Certain companies go more predatory than others. Certain companies really push the FOMO and really push the price points on it. Hopefully this one finds a good balance. They're going to need to if they're going to sort of usurp Call of Duty, if that's their aim. I'm not sure why Ubisoft would get into another shooter when they have like a Rainbow Six Siege, and generally these companies would just continue an IP like that. Would you have any sort of like suspicions or assumptions to maybe why they're jumping into this sort of style of arena shooter, non-arena shooter, Call of Duty game?
So Rainbow Six has been doing fine, like over the longevity of its like life. Like new players come in, the operators are well designed half the time, because there's obvious misses when it comes to like devs and stuff like that. The game overall is fun and has maintained and if not increased their player base over the last bunch of years, right? And it just seems like they're branching out into like, because everybody's branching out to hero shooters. It just like it's a hero shooter to me is what it looks like. So and everybody's got one.
Yeah, you know, maybe that's it. Maybe they're just diversifying their repertoire, just to get their foot in the door here. Maybe they can chip away. Maybe a lot of this was they saw the alleged weakness of Overwatch, Blizzard, Activision, in around 2020, 2022, of 2 years of nothing, and they decided to put their hand. Throw their hat into the ring, put their hand on the controller, and start to give this a shot. Because it is interesting. We're seeing this come out this week really swiftly. I hadn't heard anything about this game except for that it launched last week. Servers were overrun because of popularity, and then a lot of people, air quotes with that one, said that this was the Call of Duty killer. So we have this game. We have Deadlock, the Valve Overwatch hero shooter. We've got Marvel Rivals, another arena shooter coming out. It's an interesting time that we see this, let alone stuff like Nyan Cats, like we were reviewing last week.
Yeah, it's just it's a lot, and I just don't know what. Like, I don't know where it's coming from, really. Like, it seems very. I don't want to say like outdated or antiquated, but it's definitely seeming like it's just a little late. I mean, not to say that like the games are going to do bad or anything, but like the hero shooter craze, I'm not sure if it could like pick up again like that.
Well, I don't know if it ever really sort of left. I think people have a bad taste in their mouth, but this is where we are. And like pending in when these companies made these decisions, was it back in 2016, 8 years ago? Did it take that long to develop this game? Who knows? Was it 4 years ago in 2020? I think I have a fan club screaming in the background, by the way, distracting me a little bit. But in that sort of sense, did they make these decisions 4 years ago when they saw a perceived weakness with Overwatch and Blizzard that they could jump in and steal the market because they saw Did they think they could sell a game that did it better, just in general? Possibly. I would think it's more of the latter, 4 years ago of a development, not a 10-year ago development when like Overwatch won Game of the Year as the first FPS to win Game of the Year kind of thing. But any final thoughts?
So like final thoughts would be like, dude, it's really hard to beat Blizzard when they put out a decent game. Like in general, like being a World of Warcraft player in general, like I find it, I try every single MMO that comes out. Good luck, everybody. Like, what are you fixing? Like they have a great engine, the game's smooth, like the combat's fine. This can also be described Overwatch. Like
that polish, for sure.
That polish that they have, right? And like you're just gonna go to another game and like, well, let's see how long, like, let's give it a little bit. And then like you're gonna be sitting in a dead game like I was with MXM, but like I won't even talk about that game. I love that game.
Too bad. You already did, man. You already did. I don't think a lot of people are going to know that game, but yeah, I'm with you on that. And I think we're seeing that a little bit right now. You have some people who just want to hate on Overwatch, who were like, oh man, this is the Overwatch killer with Marvel Rivals. As soon as they got into the alpha, as soon as the testing was over. But you're seeing a lot more people now come back down and go, Overwatch isn't bad. It's a good game. Obviously it has its flaws, it's got its things, but like maybe it's not as far gone as we've already made it out to be, because that's also, you know, the hype beast of things. And I lied, that wasn't final thoughts. I did forget to talk about one other thing about that's really important with XDefiant that's going to be a notable, but you know, I just want to give you a second if you wanted to respond to that aspect of it, of Overwatch and, you know, Marvel Rivals, or people just going after a game because they love it so much, they want it to do better, and then it's not hitting the mark where they feel it should, and then they see another game try to do it and just not do it well.
It's just like, I say this all the time, like, what's the new game that's exactly like the old one gonna fix? What is it gonna do? What's it gonna fix for you? Like, if you think that Blizzard tries to take your money with skins, like, for the love of God, have you never heard of Disney as a corporation just in general? They want all your fucking money. Like,
guess what?
They want all
Nick,
of your money.
Guess what? Guess what? Marvel Rivals? Marvel Rivals is also run by NetEase. So yeah, you know, Nick, you're a man of very few words and like very precise words when it comes to that get your point across. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
I would love for these games to take off, but
yeah, I just
don't see how it's going to pull people away from Overwatch in general. Besides, like, you know, characters, so, like, it would have to be as like the Marvel Rivals could do it if it was exactly Overwatch, but with Marvel characters. And like you'd have like yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, which, you know, what it was a lot of what people sold it as in their heads. They imagined it being. It wasn't exactly that on the playthrough, and it is an alpha. There's still hope that it becomes that, but even just like something small, like the niche gimmick of destructible environments, it became annoying really fast, and people frustrated it. They might be a lot of fun, absolutely a lot of fun, but they're also really fucking annoying. So what is it doing better? You're right.
Not Red Faction, man. Red Faction was was legitimately a fun game with like destruction, but the problem is that like not everybody's the same, right? So that destruction on the map is not playable forever for anybody for the most part, because if you try to use it in a unique way, someone else might just end up ruining the whole entire plan because their AoE is higher or something like that, or like more powerful or something, right? Like, it's just, you know, it's just a gimmick, you know, a weird, cool gimmick. It's like, cool, we destroyed the billboard.
Right, and that's one of the criticisms of Marvel Rivals. I know we were talking about XDefiant here, but Marvel Rivals, one of the big criticisms was that a lot of the ults, the ultimate moves of each hero, they're big bombs, they're big explosions. So like, yeah, here's this carefully laid out plan, and then boom, Scarlet Witch just blows everything up. Anyway, yeah. The other important thing I want to just touch on with XDefiant, just sort of forcefully move the conversation a little bit too, and didn't get to talk about briefly, I forgot about it, is the MMR system. The two main points about XDefiant is going to be the factions, which apparently the factions seem more like classes, the abilities you get to roll out with, etc. So it's another arena shooter-esque, but they're calling it something different, trying to at least. I'm not saying they're doing a bad job at that, but then the bigger thing is that apparently there's not going to be any MMR, some matchmaking ranking in the behind the scenes in anything other than in comp. So in comp, you're going to get your skill ranking. You're going to skill up. You'll become gold, plat, whatever you are, you casual gamer, you're going to get to that and you're going to play other people in competitive. But the second you go to an arcade mode or a quick play or a casual mode, no MMR. Right off the bat, Nick, tell me your thoughts. Tell me, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Tell me that I'm the prettiest boy in school. No.
You're not.
Shucks.
Let's go to the next. No. That's always bad, right? Like it's just always bad. It's going to lead for bad experiences, just in general. Like you'd have to pull in a really huge player base for that not to create like really bad player experiences on a regular basis. There's situations like in other games that have MMR rankings. If you play the quick play or anything like that and you just win a little bit too much, you are getting sent to a pub stop. Like that's literally what happens. You're getting sent to a pub stop. And like this just means that a pub stop is just a little bit more likely even if you're losing. Like that's kind of crazy to think about, right? Like you're just like, yeah, am I safe this game? Am I gonna win it? Like I played so well, and then oh man, there's that guy who's like way better. But you never know. Like I think like it'll probably be a lot more random. Like all the abilities are probably pick upable, and they're probably going to be tiered out with color quality, like Plunderstorm, where it's like common, epic, rare, whatever, mythic. Like that's probably like what happens with
Apex
all that stuff.
Style,
You probably
right?
you probably keep your weapons. You probably get to choose your weapon for your class. Like they can only use certain weapons.
Okay.
And then like your abilities probably upgrade while you're playing the game, like in the matches.
That'd be cool. I love Star Wars Battlefront, the OG one, because you could level up with the shotgun, and that shotgun you became better at it, and it provided a little bit more functionality, a little more utility when you use that weapon after using it for so long. This is a game that's already out there, free to play, so we could go try it out. It might be something we do this week, stream it a little bit. Make sure you follow us on Twitch or YouTube here to see that, and just come hang out while we play some games. Little call to action, little shilling there. But yeah, I agree with you as far as the ranks go. It's going to be a game of extremes if you're not playing ranked mode. And maybe this is going to push people from a ladder anxiety into ladder, because it's going to be the more qualitative experience. Outside of ranked mode, competitive mode, my guess would be either they have a secret MMR that they don't tell you happens, or you're going to get one of two matches, and they're both going to be extremes. One extreme where you stomp everybody and you're just a god, you're the server admin deleting people, / you're on a team with somebody who's doing that. Or you get on a team that doesn't know what they're doing, can't coordinate, and they're just dying immediately at a spawn. I don't think there's going to be any in between on this. This is going to be a game of extremes. If that's my assumption coming into this. Excuse me.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. Like, especially in like the non-ranked ones, but like it's really hard for people to get over ladder anxiety. Like I have a good friend who has played games in like certain games just as long as I have, and I can't even express to you how much like he's just like, oh dude, it's so stressful and ranked. And it's like, for me it's not. It literally just like that's like normal queue. Just go into it. It's the best way to like experience the game in a lot of games, but like a lot of people just don't feel that way. They feel way more stress when they're playing the game, when there's like something to lose. Like in general. So
invisible currencies, man. It works. and it really does have an impact. As somebody who does struggle with a little bit of ladder anxiety sometimes, where you find something valuable, I get that. It's tough to overcome that and just, not be seen as a loser or whatnot. But you're not the quality of your game. You're just playing. You can have a good game, you can have a bad game. That's quite all right. Maybe that's something, you struggle with. Let us know in the comments or just make a mention here. It's something we do talk about every so often and something we try to help. But like overall, video games are supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be relaxing. Maybe not always relaxing. I definitely do play Overwatch some nights to get all riled up and just like, let's fucking go, boys, kind of thing. I've played some other games that do that too. And like, that's just what it is. But XDefiant, I'm not sure. We'll give it a shot. We'll lock in, grab the headsets and see what we're doing. Maybe we'll be little savants with this, Nick. Come out on top of the MMR-less quick play.
I just downloaded it just so I could check it out.
Multitasking. All right, great. Well, we've got one more topic to go on, and if you're ready for it, I'm ready to go for it too, Nick.
Ready to go for it.
Let's do it. So the last topic here is going to be about Overwatch. We've got DreamHack coming up. DreamHack is a big esports convention / video game / tournament / it's a lot. And it's one of those international things that is just a mainstay of gamer culture at this point. Coming up, we have DreamHack Dallas in 2024. I don't know why I said the year because everyone knows it's 2024. But let me just update the title here. DreamHack Dallas 24. And it's a whole collection of stuff. We've got a ton of games. It's been going on for years. I want to say nearly 20 years between fighting games and just LAN parties and competitions. But they're going to boast about over $1 million in prizes across the board. A lot of sponsors. But here we go. We've got MTG's going to Dallas as a pro tour, I think it is.
That's oh my god, it's the RCQ. It's the
RCQ.
Regional qualifier. Yeah, regional qualifier for Pioneer.
Okay, so it's a regional.
I think is there. Yeah, and so you can get points to get onto the bigger events and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. So we've got card games, competitive card games like Magic the Gathering. We've got obviously meet and greets with content creators to pull people in. We've got Fortnite World Cup. We've got Esports World Cup with Street Fighter 6. They're going to be qualifying, so you can potentially go out to, where is it? Qatar, Saudi Arabia. I think it's in Saudi Arabia, right? For the Esports World Cup, as well as Tekken qualifier for Esports World Cup. Fighting games you're pretty familiar with. We've got, I keep forgetting that they changed the name, but it's FIFA. Anyway, EAFC is also competing for the qualifier. Overwatch qualifiers for just their major one. We're going to be seeing a big international tournament, the first international tournament. StarCraft still going on. Big event here at DreamHack. What else we got? Cosplay tournaments, teamfight tactics, a whole ton of tabletop games as well as fighting games. They're going to be fighting games at any sort of convention, video game related. And then just like a general expo con. So let's get into the specificality of this. What we're talking about is Overwatch Championship Series Major 1. This is, like I said, the first international tournament for Overwatch Championship Series. I'm excited for it because we get to finally size up North American teams versus EMEA teams versus Korean teams or Asia Pacific region teams. Let's be honest, mostly Korean teams, but that's starting this Friday, I believe June 1st, and then continuing through the weekend. We're going to give you a little bit of a setup here. Nick, as I transition us into a breakdown of the bracket and what to expect on the dates and whatnot, what are you looking forward to? First off, that lineup for DreamHack, why didn't we go, bro? Why didn't we go?
We have wives.
Wives and kids. I mean,
yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it would be cool to check it out, especially like for these like years coming up and stuff like that.
Yeah, and besides Overwatch here, what else are you looking at for DreamHack. Are you going to be paying attention to the MTG tournament or?
Yeah, I'm paying attention to that right now. Probably not Street Fighter. I think Tekken is my favorite fighting game to watch. I think it's like the best fighting game for skill level. Like, and that's not to say that there's like bad people playing like the other games and they're not skillful. I think it's that usually seems like the most technical one, and has like the least absurd shit. Like absurdity usually takes it's like when you put random into anything, like it's just not so competitive. Like it just seems like the absurd fighters tend to not be so technical.
But isn't that the fighting video game with the giant bear?
Yeah.
Absurdity, I guess not.
He's not summoning down a meteor to destroy the planet, like while playing a fighting game. It's like,
I hear you. I'm just teasing.
Superman. You know, I know.
I'm teasing
you're
a little bit.
Teasing,
yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, I do think that I do think Tekken's like the most reasonable one to watch, especially for like new viewers and stuff like that. It's not that it's like 100% easy to follow, but you could at least understand, and you can really see when like a good play happens. Like, you don't really know that when it's like Street Fighter or something else like that. It doesn't really, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
I think that might be. Yeah, that might be the depth, because I believe they've got the 3D movement in the 2D space, right? Whereas other fighting games are more side-scrolling 2D on 2D plane. So that might make that little extra depth layer of complicated, of skill level, of also like viewer ability to identify that's an amazing play. Like, wow, they did something really crazy right there. I just want to say too, like, I'm excited for that, and I'm going to keep looking out for it, but I'm surprised that we're not seeing like a Rocket League on this. I know they've had a bunch of majors already halfway through the season, but to not have like a North American presence at DreamHack or something is kind of shocking. I'm sure they have like a smaller tournament for like a casual or like semi-pro casual, but it's interesting they're not like advertising it here.
Yeah, that is a little weird.
But let's get into it. Overwatch. Major schedule. We're going to start with the schedule here. It's going to start this Friday, the 31st, with some teams at 1 p.m. I think that's Eastern time here, so check your local listings for your time zone if you're not in Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, it's going to be coming out of Dallas, so I think we're talking about Central Time. Just pretty straightforward. It's going to be just a 3-day tournament. We're going to see the upper bracket finals on Sunday, the grand finals on Sunday, and a lot of the bulk of lower bracket and elimination happening on Saturday. I'm going to switch this back and bring us into the bracket situation, the team overview. Okay, here we go. So these are all teams that have qualified from previous tournaments, stage 1, stage 2, as well as some circuit points. And specifically, we are already familiar with Toronto Defiant. They've run the house here in North America, but they've shown some weakness in the last stage. We'll see if the new tank busting or anti-tank busting patch is going to shake that up. If we're going to see Venture get played in any substantial way. She's had some power shifting, the developers with some patching. M80 coming out a little bit weak off the beginning because of a very interesting narrative, but got their shit together for stage 2, hit this up for circuit points, and definitely showing they've got the power and the ability to make a run for the championship here. Students of the Game was kind of the lower end of North America, but they consistently showed progress. They showed a lot of grit and ability to adapt and make stuff happening. They got hot in stage 2. They weren't able to pull all the way through, but they definitely did well enough to get the circuit points to get to DreamHack, which was what matters. SSG Space Station Gaming is our first EMEA qualifier. They won stage 2, really dominant, showed the ability to create micro plays without flaw that really changed the whole presentation of the game, ultimately winning. And their rivals, per se, was ENCE, the other EMEA team that we're going to see competing here. Very big, very thought of like the powerhouse team in Europe, but haven't really showed the full dominance that's been expected of them. They're a good team. They still got the sauce. They just have to pour it on a lot heavier for sure to get the win, especially when we start going into our Asia representatives. Last but not least, in EMEA, we've got Twisted Minds, and this one is going to be interesting because they've had a very big roster shakeup at the end of stage 2. A lot of people are expecting this team to be the fallout team, the first team to just get knocked out. Thanks for coming by. Here's a t-shirt. See you never kind of thing. But, you know, these kids can take that pressure off their shoulders, maybe play without regard and just come out because they've got nothing to lose. They've got everything to win. So there's no pressure on their shoulders. So we'll see how Twisted Minds does with that narrative behind them. And then moving into the last 2 teams here, the Asia region, Asia Pacific, we've got Crazy Raccoons, Nick and mine's favorite team, especially for that logo. They're coming in with a strong roster with a recent org adoption, I think is what it's called, but an org picked them up. They've won pretty dominantly, but you know, the Asia Pacific region has a much different style. We're going to need to see if they can keep up with the brawl, the poke, and the other sort of random things with North America and EMEA, or vice versa. If they've got it figured out and it's EMEA and North America that's got to come at them swinging. And last team, Falcons. This is a Korean team, I believe a Korean team based out of Korea. They've been dominant. They had a little bit of a slow start, but generally speaking, once they figured it out, they've just done nothing but win. Not much to talk about this. We've got the MVP Rookie of the Year proper. We've got Smurf Hanbin, a lot of role stars, a lot of big Overwatch League players. Now it's time to see if they can actually do it on a bigger stage. They were running the show at their hometowns, basically. But now, you know, we're getting to Major 1. Out of these teams, Nick, I know we've covered some of them. We haven't covered all of them. What's your thoughts, feelings? Do you see one team being dominant here? Do you want to see one team being dominant? I think you're muted.
There we go. Team Falcon would be where I would lean towards. Just because I know the capabilities of a lot of those players, at least 4 of them. It's going to be an interesting match between like Toronto Defiant and Twisted Minds. They're going to be facing each other first, but it's going to be off stream, so we're not even going to really see it, right? Until they post it. If they do post it. Crazy Raccoons and M80 is going to be like relatively interesting, but I don't think it's going to be unsurprising who wins.
Yeah, let's go into this, man. Let's go into that. If you were just to do a quick upper bracket, what do you see happening? Space Station Games, Student of the Game. Who you got winning?
SSG.
Okay.
And then Team Falcons.
Okay.
And then I think Crazy Raccoon wins and Toronto Defiant wins.
Okay.
That's where I would leave it.
I think Toronto Defiant over Twisted Minds is probably the easiest pick of the match. Yeah. But, you know, anything could happen on game day. We'll see what happens that game day. I'm with you on those picks. M80 I think is the biggest wild card for that game. I think Crazy Raccoons might have the advantage as far as power rankings and whatnot, but when it comes to strategy, etc., I think M80 might just come out swinging real hard and prove an upset. And then we have M80 versus Toronto Defiant in round 2, which could be a good match.
Like these brackets I always get a little slightly annoyed every time I see brackets regardless of the game. There's always it always seems like we're just going to end up watching the same match again. Like it's like it happened at MSI where I just watched like the same match 3 times. Like, no, thank you.
Is the tournament seeders trying to create a narrative here? Like, oh yeah, okay, we're going to have them get knocked out and they're going to come through the lower bracket and then it's a revenge match.
Yeah, they're probably like, no, we don't want Team Falcons and Toronto Defiant to face early. This is what we don't want. It's like viewership numbers will go down if you knock out Toronto Defiant or something.
Yeah, and a lot of it could also just be positional seeds, like it's just placed, and like we're seeing the same sort of things happen with the 3 different regions where the positionals. In that way, though, with MSI, we had a prediction about how it's going to go, and we were expecting to see like the same match, and we did see a lot of revenge matches, but we definitely saw a lot of shakeups with that too. A handful of upsets caused a little bit of differential until the end, and then the end was like, okay, yeah, pretty cut and dry. This one, I do feel like most of the moves are going to happen in the lower bracket. I feel like students of the game, maybe Ents and Team Falcons. That's going to be an interesting toss up. If Ents doesn't really get their shit together, or if it's not really a tracer meta, like Team Falcons probably maybe put the pressure on, give them a strategy, the old 1-2 that they didn't see coming, and like keep it in the upper bracket, forcing Ents down there. But yeah, I think lower bracket is really where all the excitement's going to be. I'm not going to say, actually, let me take that back. I apologize. 2 of the 4 games seem like they're going to be pretty solid already. Expectations. Here's the pick. Safe bet. Let's go with that. The other 2, I think, are going to be kind of up in the air. I do feel like Team Falcons Ents is a 50-50 match. Same with Crazy Raccoon M80. But in that same way, it's volatile enough where they just have a bad day and they just get boomed.
Yeah, I don't think it's that much of a 50-50 for Team Falcon, but I think the Crazy Raccoon M80 game is going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, quickly here, I want you to pick your all-time winner out of this tournament. Who's taking it all at the end?
Complete curveball. Ents.
Yeah.
like Ents
This
takes
might be
it
the
from
time,
the lower
man.
bracket.
This
Ents
might be
takes
the
it from
time.
lower bracket. Which would be crazy. I have
Right,
them losing the first upper bracket, but
and they're coming back for that revenge match.
yeah. Like as you said, like I think they're just gonna like stumble, fall down, and then just, Spartan kick their way all the way into the grand finals. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll definitely see. My bet, I like M80 so much. I want to see them do it. I think they're going to get to lower bracket finals. I think they might be a second place team. First place team, I don't know, man. I'm gonna go with a safe pick. I think it's going to be Toronto Defiant. I don't think the other orgs are going to be able to overcome them and their strategy. I think they might falter a little bit. Toronto might falter a little bit, but I think they're going to show and prove that they've got the flexibility. They might not be the best at everything, but they're definitely really good at everything. They might not be the master of one, but they definitely are the jack of all trades here. And I think that might be my safe bet here to take it all. I want to see M80 do it though. So bad. So bad.
It'd be cool if the big underdog that just we've been talking about this whole entire time just ends up, rising to the occasion.
Yeah, certainly would be a nice narrative, a lot of fun to discuss, and definitely have something to come back to. Just trying to take a look at the prize pool here. I can't seem to find it offhand, but I know it's a pretty solid amount. Anyway, just kind of, wrapping things up with Overwatch here. This is the first major international event for OWCS, first major international post Overwatch League. Overwatch League wasn't really an international, but it was an international, even though we saw a lot of Korean teams basically fight each other from inside North America, basically. So it'd be cool to see how this establishes the sport, the esport for, this game in an environment like DreamHack, in a pressure cooker like DreamHack, as well as the notoriety for how it impacts the rest of the season. We've got 2 more stages and the finals happening at the end of the year for Overwatch. Do you see anything particularly notable to talk about here, about Overwatch being in their first major international, that the 3 different regions coming out with different styles, do you feel like we're going to see a more dive heavy sort of meta versus like a rush Rhine meta? It's kind of hard to tell on my end. What do you think?
I think, and usually with situations like this, man, complete honesty is one play style takes over. It's not going to be 3 play styles that play. It's going to be one play style that takes over. So I think it's going to be whose play style. That would probably be the real determining factor is who plays their play style the best.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do play their play style the best, then they're probably going to be the winners of the championship on it. But if somebody else just so happens to not play that play style that much, but when they do, they end up being a lot better than the people who do. I can't that's really where I would see it. Like I want to know whose play style is going to be.
Yeah, you make a really good point, and like we've seen it too before, where you have to sort of hold back some of your cards. You don't show your full hand off the bat. You do have to secure to win because you gotta move on. You gotta play to win. You can't get eliminated out. But it'll be interesting to see if one team's read on the meta is more dominant than everyone else, and then we see everybody else scramble trying to imitate, especially in that lower bracket when they're facing elimination, when their backs are against the wall. So I think that's a really good point to look out for, and maybe that's the thing. That's absolutely going to be the thing I'm going to be looking for in this. What's the meta going to be? What's the dominant play style strategy going to be? And which team is going to pioneer it / be the poster child for it?
Exactly. Who's going to be the front runner for it?
Yeah.
With the meta.
Those are the things that win championships. Those are the things that win competitive games. We love to talk about it. I think that's about it of here. We are a little bit over time, but getting into all these different topics today, it was a pleasure. Out of the things we were discussing, any last notes you want to leave us on, from XDefiant to League of Legends Faker Skin to multiverses? Are you going to pick it up, or am I going to pick it up? We're going to play online. What's happening?
I'm probably not picking up multiverses if I'm going to be honest. Like I don't think I have the time for it, and I think it's going to fall prey to the exact same thing that like every WoW clone does, where I just say like, oh, this is kind of just like a less good version of what I'm already playing. So like that's why I probably won't end up picking it up. But the real thing that I want to talk about is like, yo, what board games are they fucking playing competitively over here? Is it like, I know that they're like, I'm sure it's like Marvel Versus or something along those lines.
So
that's really what I want to like.
Before COVID, we would go to MagFest every year, MagFest East in DC. And they'd have some board game tournaments, and like Settlers of Catan, King of Tokyo, there's a ton. Competitive Pandemic, I think it was like a speed run kind of like thing, but they would have so many different competitions. I would love to see some of that happen at DreamHack. I would love to get that broadcasted. And like you've talked about Mr. Beast playing, what was it, Dune board game?
Yeah, the Dune board game. He fucking loves that game, dude. He hosts the only tournament for it every year, like, which is just ridiculous.
Maybe they're playing that at DreamHack. That would be the place to go to, perhaps, get a big enough grouping of people. I'm with you. I want to do some research on that and check out the board games. In fact, I've got a few board games too. Maybe we do a board game night soon. Maybe we do it on stream. But for me, the notable point to leave off on, I am excited about Overwatch. It's, we've already just spoken about that, but XDefiant, I want to give it a shot. I want to see if it really is that volatile experience we're expecting, we're assuming it's going to be. Those high highs of noob stomping or those low lows of just being deleted as soon as you respawn. I think that's going to be the big narrative, and see if that game takes off any sort of degree. Otherwise, you want to go halfsies on that Faker bundle, dude?
Nah, dude, I don't need that. I have the skins that I like in the game, and none of those skins are good enough for me to spend $500 on. So
fair enough, man. Fair enough. And we don't get paid here, not yet at least. But you can help us with that by liking and subscribing. You like that segue? Bam, that was smooth. We're here every Tuesday filming this live podcast on Twitch and YouTube. Hit like, follow, subscribe, doing the internet things. It's free for you guys, but really helps us out and hopefully gets us to DreamHack next year, so we get to hang out with you, playing video games, playing some board games. Otherwise, if social media is more your thing, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, wherever you are, we are too. It's a little chiller over there, a little better vibes sometimes, but everyone, you do you. We're not going to yuck your yum. Last but not least, this has been the Esports Meta. It's been a pleasure talking with you, Nick.
Been a pleasure, bud.
I'm speechless. I think I've said all the words that I know today, so I'm going to send us off there. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
See you next time. So the tabletop, are we still live now?
Yeah, we were live, but I just muted us.
All right, sick.
I can hear you.
My bad.
No, you're good.
So the tabletop area, by the way, is just